Hello, people. It's your boy Osman back again with another Manchester United podcast. As you can see from the title, Manchester United secure third, but you already know that. And also, Mason Mount is looking ever so close to signing for Manchester United. We will be discussing all the transfer news, and of course, we will be highlighting some of the key moments from last week's securing of the top four. As always, make sure you slap a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. My socials are here if you wish to follow me on TikTok and Twitter in particular. That's where you can find me, Osman Talks United. Anyways, I'm undecided whether I should put my hat on or not. What do you reckon? Hat on or hat off? I don't really know. But what I do know is I haven't bloody recorded a video in a minute. So hopefully, some familiar faces will be in the chat. If you're watching this on repeat, please do slap a like on the video and please get your comments in. If we get to 2 likes, actually, I think we're already on 2. If we get to 4 likes, I will do another video probably tomorrow, if not the day after, doing some transfer news. The sun is just about shining in my face, which is absolutely fantastic. I should have done the blinds. I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm blind. I'm blind, people. Right, okay, so it might be worth me just quickly sorting that out. But listen, as I'm doing that, get your questions in, get your thoughts in, anything you want me to discuss, feel free to let me know. And of course, if you're watching this on repeat, as most of you tend to do, please get your comments in and I will obviously get back to you guys as swiftly as I possibly can. As you may or may not notice, I have been away for a while due to work, as always. I just want to say a massive thank you to every single person that supports me on Twitter, supports me on YouTube, and supports me on TikTok. You guys consistently support me regardless of when I upload or when I post content, so to speak, and I just appreciate you guys so much. So thank you as per usual. But listen, let's get into it. Manchester United securing third spot absolutely with ease. I don't really make sense, but it was with ease in the end. It was light work at the end of the day. Chelsea got absolutely slopped at Old Trafford. I was there, and I was also there for the weekend, which was absolutely beautiful as well. But make no mistake about it. I mean, the Chelsea game for me was one of the bizarrest games of football I've ever witnessed. I mean, they could have been 4. It could have been 4-4 first half, and at the end of the day, we just took our chances, and Chelsea did not. But listen, you got to give credit to the strikers finally turning up and actually scoring. Rashford, Bruno, and Martial on the score sheet. It's been a minute since we could have said that, so I was absolutely elated to see all 3 of the boys get on the score sheet, and one of which carried that through against a game on the weekend. Actually, none of them scored on the weekend. Did Bruno score on the weekend? I think Bruno did score on the weekend. But listen, at the end of the day, Man United got the job done. That's the only thing that mattered. My boy, Jadon Sancho, absolutely lighting it up at the end of the season. For me, he's far superior on the right wing. He looks extremely comfortable. And I've said consistently, he's actually better on the right wing. For me personally, his best moments in the Dortmund shirt came on the right wing as well, when he's linking up with Hakimi and Guerrero in particular. Look, at the end of the day, you know, I have wanted to play the left wing as well. I'm not going to, you know, sit here and BS you guys. But at the end of the day, it's up to the manager to figure out what's best for the team. In this scenario, Anthony's injured, so it's a no-brainer to shift him over to the right. And since that has been the case, he has actually been putting up good performances, which is all that we'd ask for Jadon Sancho. Better late than never is what I would say, but we do need to see this more consistently moving forward. And it would be a great end to the season if Manchester United could secure the flipping FA Cup, and on top of that, if Sancho could finish the season on a high and actually contribute in that game. Look, these are the games that we pay the big money for. At the end of the day, he has come in for a lot of money. You know, let's not beat around the bush. 75 million is still a large sum of money for any player. He hasn't really delivered up until now, but I've been extremely consistent. I fully believe in his ability and his capabilities. But you got to do these big moments. I mean, he's already done it against Liverpool this season, but these big moments have come far and few between. He's literally been dropping stinkers week in, week out, really. I can't even lie, even as his biggest fan. He's just been absolutely appalling this season. And to be honest, he needs to step up alongside Anthony Martial, another player that, for me, has not really covered himself in glory of late. I mean, Martial's injury crisis has been an absolute disaster. I said on other podcast that I actually think Martial has let us down massively with his inability or inavailability, should I say. And just the fact that we've had to rely on Weghorst so prominently, it's just disappointing, to be honest. I mean, it really was an opportunity for Martial to stay a claim for the number 9 situation. He's done the polar opposite, to be quite frankly honest with you. Most in the chat, I have faith in Sancho will come, cut, and then James, as per Usual, lol, no way. I'm assuming that's referring to Sancho. But listen, as I always say, look, I always want to give the players the opportunity to prove me wrong. And at the moment, the players aren't doing enough to prove me right. But it's up to Ten Hag to figure it out. I mean, Sancho has said consistently he wants to play on the left wing. But as Ten Hag rightly said after the Chelsea game, he can't play on both wings. I personally think he's just better on the right wing. Just because he looks more comfortable on the ball. Of course, he's playing on a stronger foot, predominantly at the time. You know, when he's on the left wing, he looks like, I mean, he doesn't look uncomfortable per se, but of course he's having to cut in more because he's wanting to, you know, get on his favourite foot. And I think on the right wing, he just doesn't have to do that as much. And it just allows him to just be a bit more creative, which is what we want from him. We just want him to be a creative winger. We don't really need him to beat his man per se. We just need him to put some quality into the box and actually create chances. But Sancho said, like I said, regarding Anthony Martial, I need to see more from him. I'll be interested to see what happens with Anthony Martial in the summer. But nevertheless, an opportunity for him to finish his Manchester United career potentially on a high, securing the FA Cup against Manchester City. He does love a game against Man City, doesn't he? He tends to do absolute numbers against Man City. But in terms of numbers, or numbers aside, should I say, his performances against Man City consistently throughout his Man United career have been top-notch. And really hoping that, you know, this game on the weekend is another one. I believe the game on Saturday, but I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. But what I am sure of, Manchester United need to be their absolute best. We can't see that performance that we put against Chelsea, against Man City, because we will get punished. I mean, the game on the weekend against Fulham was extremely uninspiring, but nevertheless, it was two teams on the beach. Metaphorically speaking, you know, the season was done for both teams. You know, Man United had something to play for, which was the third spot, but at the end of the day, it wasn't a be-all or end-all. The players probably didn't have as much motivation as maybe the fans and the manager to secure that third spot. But yeah, nevertheless, we got it done. I mean, Manchester United finishing third in Erik ten Hag's first season is definitely an achievement to an extent. I don't always use that word of achievement, actually. I don't think that's the right word. It's definitely something I didn't expect to happen. You know, coming into the season, things were gloomy this time last year. I mean, we were pretty much rock bottom as far as Manchester United and the club is concerned. We were literally at the bottom of the barrel. I mean, dire straits on the Ranić. I mean, we were getting slapped week in, week out. Yes, granted, we've had a couple of slappings under Ten Hag as well, but literally last season was an absolute nightmare for large periods. And I think to come out of that situation 12 months later in the top four, in third, with a trophy and a cup final. Yes, granted, the Europa League, for me personally, we kind of, you know, didn't do as much as I would expect. I definitely think we should have got past Sevilla. But nonetheless, you know, we've still done a lot of good this season. Granted, there is a lot that we need to improve. Of course, the football, there has been a lot of question marks over that, but I do think that's down to the lack of personnel. And I do think Ten Hag still needs to get some of his players in for me to really criticize, you know, the style of football that Manchester United are trying to play. But yeah, in terms of, you know, the overall position, I think a lot of United fans want to snatch their hand off come start of the season. You know, Man United to finish the top three with a trophy in the bag and a potential second on the weekend. I mean, I think that is dreamland given the scenario we were in and the team that Erik ten Hag has inherited. I've seen a lot of rival fans try to discredit the way Ten Hag has done, and I constantly mention the fact that he spent a lot of money. Yes, he has spent a fair bit. I think it's 220 million to be exact, but a lot of those are on single players. And big fees. I mean, Anthony in particular, Casemiro was a big fee, was worth every single penny. Probably overpaid for both, I would say. Martinez is probably the only one that we've actually got a bargain at. I think it was 45 million, 60 million euros or something. But everyone else realistically hasn't really lived up to the price tag, so to speak. Within Man United ecosystem. But of course, Casemiro is an exception to that. He's been absolutely outstanding. But yeah, look, end of the day, we have spent a bit of money, but we had Weghorst to replace Cristiano Ronaldo in January, and we had Martial, who's not fully fit. I mean, the fact that we finished third, maybe it's a credit to Ten Hag, maybe it's just a testament to how poor the league is. Who knows? But one thing I do know is Manchester United fans need to be positive moving forward, because at the end of the day, we finished a lot higher than most of us predicted, including myself. I think I had us in 5th or 6th, if I'm not mistaken. I did not expect us to be in third spot whatsoever. So we've got to look at the positives. As I've already alluded to, Martial, for me, if you could stay fully fit, potentially might be, you know, a bit further up. But nonetheless, Ten Hag's done a great job with what he had at his disposal. I think for me, people's just been overly critical for the sake of it. You got to look at, the context, and other managers have come in and their first season haven't really gone to plan, so to speak. At least we've got the first one off the mark and we've actually got top four. Muslin's saying the ownership saga has gone very quiet. It has indeed. To be honest, Muslin, I don't think a lot of people know what's going on with that. I think I've seen a lot of reports saying X, Y, and Z, and I just think people are making it up for clicks, making it up for likes, and just engagement. To be honest, I mean, at the end of the day, it's extremely worrying that it's taken this long for there to be an announcement. The only thing I can hold on to is the fact that they're waiting until after the FA Cup. For me personally, I do still stick by my previous video, which is where I said Sir Jim Ratcliffe is going to be the new owner of Manchester United. That is my personal opinions and thoughts on the matter. I don't hope that's true. I do hope Qatar or Sheikh Jassim does win the bid, but like I explained in my previous video, if you haven't watched that, if you haven't watched that, feel free to check that out. I just don't want to go into that too much detail because I've explained it in every single detail that you'd want. I just don't think Sheikh Jassim outbids him, basically. James is saying bored of the takeover, not takeover. I think, what does that mean? Yeah, to be honest, James, I completely echo that sentiment. For me, I'm just sick and tired of reading about it. Like I said, I'm hoping after the FA Cup, it's just announced. Either way, I don't really care at this point now. I do care, but in this moment in time, it's giving me Frankie de Jong vibes, where people are just making up nonsense stories. No one truly knows what's going on, and I'm just gonna wait until we get a bit more credible source, such as the David Ornsteins, Fabrizio Romano's, Samuel Lacquer, someone of that ilk, to report something. At the moment, a lot of it just seems like waffle, hence why I've not really mentioned it since that video. But yeah, moving back onto the team itself. Look, at the end of the day, Manchester United, top three. You'll love to see it. Let's move on to some transfer news. Obviously, I'm not going to go into too much detail regarding the season itself because the season ain't over. As Erik ten Hag said, we have got one more game to play for, so hence why I'm not really delving into my thoughts for the season, that kind of thing. That will obviously come after the FA Cup game because, of course, my opinions will change massively if we end up winning that cup, and vice versa. So, yeah, I'm just going to wait until that game before I give my season ratings and play ratings, etc., yada, yada, yada. So we can see that next week. And obviously the preview, will probably do that on Thursday, so I'm not doing that as of yet. But yeah, in terms of the transfer news, as you can see from the title, there is a lot of speculation regarding Mason Mount to Manchester United. It does seem like Mount's preference is Man United. I'm not 100% sure the reason for that. Maybe it's money, maybe he feels he's guaranteed a spot. I'm not sure. At the end of the day, we don't know what the conversations have been like. If there is truth to that, I mean, he might have spoken directly to Ten Hag and he's promised him a spot where Eriksen is currently playing. And he's obviously happy with that. I mean, he would be guaranteed a spot in Arsenal and Liverpool as well. So I haven't got a clue. I mean, it does make sense. We are the biggest clubs, so they rejected them for us. But yeah, look, end of the day, Mason Mount does seem to want Manchester United, and it does seem to be the fact that Erik ten Hag wants Mason Mount. I, for one, am opposed to this deal in every way, shape, and form. I do not want Mason Mount at Manchester United. I do not think he's the caliber or the standard of player we should be going for. I don't even think he suits the system that I would expect Erik ten Hag to implement next season, or at least look to take the steps to implement a certain style. It doesn't really suit this Erik ten Hag's system that I'm familiar with from Ajax. I'm extremely surprised at this player ID profile ID. Sorry. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, it really doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand what Mason Mount can bring to this team that would benefit this team. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a good player. He's a British prospect, English prospect, should I say? He's an academy boy from Chelsea, but Chelsea don't want him. So the fact that Chelsea are basically happy to part ways with him just screams red flag for me. I don't want him at all. I've never personally rated him. I think he's massively overrated, and I'm happy to hold my hands up. If he does come to Man United and prove me wrong, I would love to hold my hands up because it means he's proved me wrong and it means he's done well. But I personally just think he's a bit of a Jesse Lingard kind of player. When he's your own player, you kind of have love for him. He's through the academy. He's one of your own. But as a player that goes to another team, I don't really see him flourishing to the same extent. I mean, he could fall in a similar category, Dele Alli, but I do think Mason Mount does have the right application, the right mindset. He does come across as someone that is quite hardworking, but again, I don't know him personally. But he does look like someone that is on job in that perspective and very much a professional. But that aside, for me, his best attributes and what he would bring to the team is his work rate, and that isn't something that I'm looking for in a player. That should be a given, obviously, that consistently. At the end of the day, if work rate is your best attribute, I mean, you're not good enough for Man United. We've just seen the Weghorst scenario. His best attribute is work rate, and that was something he was massively praised for in the very early stages of his United loan spell, and a lot of fans very quickly worked out that, yeah, Weghorst is not good enough. I mean, the amount of arguments I've had regarding Weghorst, is he good enough, is he not? I mean, it's an absolute joke. But yeah, that aside, for me, I just don't think Mason Mount is the caliber player that we should be looking for, and also isn't the right player profile, as I've already said. We need a player that is able to dictate play, a player that's got legs, which is something Eriksen sadly hasn't. As James correctly saying in chat, shame Eriksen is not 5 years younger. I mean, Eriksen technically is a great player, but as we all know, he's a good squad player at best. He has got the legs, which is completely fine. We know the situation. Prior to signing him, he's been a great addition to the team, and he's really helped us get to where we are. And I don't think we should take that lightly. But moving forward, Eriksen should not be starting for Man United. If he is starting week in, week out next season, then we have failed in some department, mainly recruitment. Or we might have a lot of injuries, who knows. But yeah, for me, Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes with Casemiro just screams absolutely zero ball retention. Does not fill me with any confidence going into the new season. If that's the case, I know a lot of people were going to say, "Oh, well, if Eric Turner wants him, back the manager." Yeah, absolutely, I back the manager, but that doesn't mean I agree with everything that he does and says blindly. I mean, he's played Weghorst in number 10 countless times this season. I don't agree with any time that he plays him there. So I'm not going to agree with everything that Ten Hag does just for the sake of it. I'm not a sheep. But yeah, at the end of the day, everyone's entitled to their opinion. For me, Mason Mount is not the player that Man United should be going for. We've got a comment from Red Devils. Spurs are confident on keeping Harry Kane this summer. I've seen this already. To be quite honest with you, I don't think Harry Kane is going to come. I mean, I've probably flipped and flopped on this on numerous occasions, and it's not because Harry Kane probably doesn't want to. It's honestly because Daniel Levy is a nightmare to do business with. I genuinely think that Levy is going to force him to stay. I mean, the only way Harry Kane can come to Manchester United this summer, if that is where he wants to come, is he needs to force a move, essentially. I mean, that is the only way. I mean, look, end of the day, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid are linked to him as well. If he goes to either of them two teams, can't really begrudge him, because obviously they're both teams that are more likely to win trophies. And I for one, think Harry Kane needs to show ambition and win trophies. Does him coming Man United guarantee him winning trophies? Absolutely not. Does him coming Man United overstaying at Spurs increase his likelihood of winning trophies? Of course it does, but nevertheless, it does not guarantee trophies. So from that perspective, what's to even say Harry Kane wants to join us? We don't even know. He hasn't really spoken on the matter thus far. But from a Manchester United perspective, we need Harry Kane desperately. And we've seen this season we have lacked for quality in the final third, in particular in the striker department. You know, we have basically been toothless throughout the entirety of the season, bar a Marcus Rashford goal here and there. The rest of the players have barely contributed to goals. I mean, I think Rashford's on like 30 in all comps, and the next person is like on 12 or something along those lines. I don't know the exact numbers, but you get the point. It's a massive gap between Rashford and the next person below him, and that has been a major issue. I believe we've only scored like 58 goals this season, something along those lines, and Arsenal have scored like 30 goals more than us, which is absolutely ludicrous. For me, Harry Kane or someone of that ilk in terms of goal scoring ability is massively needed this summer window. It's a priority signing. It would be a massive disappointment if it's not Kane. For me, I would love it to be Harry Kane, but there are other options out there. I don't think Osimhen's viable either. I know a lot of people have been saying Kane or Osimhen. Who would you take? I don't think either are going to be easy to get, because both have, DOF or CEOs that are extremely difficult to work with. I mean, the way Napoli do business is extremely difficult. The way they try to put on 100 million price tag for Koulibaly over the years, eventually relinquishing him to Chelsea, but even then, they've driven a hard bargain throughout the entire of Koulibaly's career at Napoli. So yeah, I don't think they're a team that you want to do business with either. Unfortunately for Manchester United, we're in a situation where we desperately need a striker, and the ones that we would potentially want aren't really viable. Coming back to the Kane. he has to force a move. Like I said, whether he wants to go Real Madrid or Bayern, understandably so, guaranteed trophies, at least Bayern Munich. Real Madrid more likely to win trophies than he ever will be at Man United. That's just a fact. But at the end of the day, Manchester United need to do everything that they can to get this man. I mean, we are going to be paying massively over the odds for a player with 1 year left on his contract. But I, for one, would still do it just because he brings so much to this team in terms of his ability to score. But in terms of his overall play, his ability to bring other players into the game, I mean, look what he's done for Heung-min Son over the years. I mean, he's more than capable of doing that for Rashford, and I think Rashford's levels will increase even further, and also he'll bring the best out of other players in the team. What are your thoughts on Mason Mount? Actually, I feel like everyone's kind of said the same thing as myself. What are your thoughts on Harry Kane? Yes or no? Would you sign Harry Kane, or would you not sign Harry Kane? Let me know in the chat down below. I'm just going to get some more of your comments in. We all have also got a Neymar one. Thank you very much for posting that, Red Devils. I appreciate you, my brother. Sad day if we get Mount. I mean, that just sums up my thoughts. James saying yes. He seemed that's Greenwood, and then Mohsin, sorry, they said no. So would you take Mason Greenwood back? I'm gonna just keep it short and sweet. Absolutely not. My morals outweigh my football opinions, and this is a matter of morals. Whether Man United take him back or not, that's completely up to them. But I, for one, do not want to see him in a Man United shirt. Yes, a part of me is a bit sad to say that because of the fact that he was such an unbelievable player. But at the end of the day, what a horrible human being. I mean, look what he's done. Look, we've all heard, the voice notes, etc. Yes, at the court of law, he was found. Actually, it didn't go to court law, and the charges were dropped essentially. So there wasn't really any verdict regarding that matter. But look, end of the day, everyone has their own opinion on this matter. For me, it's an absolute no, 100%. I would not change my mind on that. I do not want him at Manchester United. And I would like to hope the people that watch me don't want him as well. But I know a lot of people personally that do actually want Mason Greenwood to come back. We've argued the case to him for so many times behind closed doors, and I will never agree with the notion that Mason Greenwood should be wearing a Manchester United shirt moving forward. Unbelievable player, but some things are bigger than football, and this is definitely one of them. We're not like other Premier League clubs. We do actually have morals. Not to name those clubs, I'm sure you can join those dots yourself. But anyways, James is put yes to Kane. Do get your thoughts in regarding Harry Kane and Mason Mount. We're going to move on to our next link. For me personally, don't think it's ever going to happen, but just going to entertain it for the sake of it. If you haven't already, please do slap a like on the video. As I said, if you get 4 likes on the video, what we're doing. If we get 4 likes on the video, I will come back on Thursday for the Manchester City preview, and I'll even try and get a guest. I'll see what I can do. There's not many Man City fans about, but we'll see what I got. But anyways, please do like the video and obviously subscribe to the channel. This takeover is so boring, man. Bro, I'm not even entertaining it anymore. I'm actually sick and tired of it. But yeah, let's get on to the last bit of transfer news. But essentially, Neymar, let's have a read. I haven't even read it. With Qatar, Brian, these relationship favor a possible signature. Okay, interesting. So basically, we get Qatari owners, and Neymar's more likely to sign. Look, for me, I don't actually think Neymar was going to happen. That's probably his age and just pushing it out there. It does seem likely that he's going to leave PSG. I would have initially said he'd go to Juventus, but I just don't see that being a viable option now, given the point deduction or alleged point deduction. Has that gone through? I'm not even sure. Actually, I'm not kept up to date. The last time I heard they're going to get a 10-point deduction, and they're not in the Champions League. So, anyways, I haven't checked. Yeah, so if that is the case, I don't see him going there. It would be great to see him play with Pogba just for the vibes. Pogba ever stays fit, of course. But yeah, I just don't see that happening. I would have put Neymar or Chelsea. I think them two teams, go hand in hand for me. I don't know why. Maybe the London vibe. I can see him in London. I don't see him at any other London club apart from Chelsea. Man United, if we still had Edward Wood, I think Neymar would have been at Man United already, to be fair. But look, I'm just going to entertain it for the sake of the conversation. Neymar on the number 10, Bruno deep, and Casemiro. I mean, I've already said a midfielder, Bruno, and Mason Mount and Casemiro has absolutely no ball retention. I mean, this one, with this midfield three, has absolute but no balance and no defensive capabilities, realistically speaking. I mean, I do think Bruno is potentially capable of playing deeper, but consistently saying that, is he able to play deeper for a duration of time? that remains to be seen. We haven't really seen that in the Premier League. I personally think he is capable of doing that. He's done it for Sporting. He's done it for Portugal. I know people will say Sporting and international football is not the barometer of world football. Yes, we understand that. But I, for one, do think he's capable if he just plays a bit more of a disciplined role. Bruno Fernandes has shown his work rate is absolutely sensational. He's very much a team player, and I got to give him credit for that. He has essentially done an absolute madness for this team this season in terms of his work rate. It's been ridiculous. I mean, I've been to a lot of games this season. Bruno has literally left everything on the pitch, and for that I commend him. He's been a great captain. He's been a great leader. Some things I've not agreed with, some things I haven't, but I do think he is capable of playing deeper. That's just my personal opinion. Regarding Neymar, I mean, what can I say about Neymar? I absolutely love the guy. I just love him. I mean, I know a lot of Man United fans, they just don't want Neymar to come for X, Y, and Z reasons, but you can't dispute his brilliance. The guy is world class. I mean, Neymar is a definition of world class. He was for me personally, anyways, the closest thing to Messi and Ronaldo. He was absolutely sensational. At his best, I still think there is a player in there. There's a few cons. The first one being the fact that he's extremely injury prone now, which is a massive shame. He's 30 essentially, so his age isn't a benefit. The wages, etc., those things. But Neymar, can you imagine Neymar, Manchester United? I mean, oh god, it could potentially be brilliant. I mean, it could obviously be a disaster. There's no denying that. It does very much give me Sanchez vibes. I wanted Sanchez desperately at United at the time we got him. As long as Neymar doesn't play any instruments, I like to think it'd be all right. But look, at the end of the day, it's just hard. It's hard to say no to Neymar on it. I've always had a soft spot for him. I just love him as a player, but that's just me personally. I'm probably just being a bit ridiculous here. Maybe it's not the right thing, but just imagine him. Just imagine Neymar. Oh my God, would be an absolute madness. Shout out to Koja, as always, brother. Osman, always good to see you. And likewise, my broski, like us. Agreed about Neymar. Can't just entertain for 15 games. I'll take it. No, I'm kind of look. I know this is I know it's somewhat going against everything that I've kind of said. Man United should buy players that suit Ten Hag system. Man United should do X, Y, and Z. But it's just one of them, innit? It's just Neymar. Do you know what I mean? Neymar, a madness. Red Devil said Neymar transfer could end like Ronaldo and Pogba, man. Yeah, this is the one. This is the comment. This is what I was trying to articulate. Thank you for this. Basically, the British media are going to kill him. I mean, we've seen it with Ronaldo, we've seen it with Pogba. Absolutely spot on, my bro. This is basically going to be the case. They don't like people that are flamboyant. They don't like people that have got that extra bit of, va-va-voom, je ne sais quoi, unless you're like seasoned with ketchup and pepper and salt and all that stuff. They don't really like them kind of players. That's what I've noticed anyways. From my experiences of being born and bred in this country, a couple of bad games and people are going to start talking about his dancing, his haircut. It's going to be Pogba 2.0, essentially. He's injured, blah, blah. I mean, the list is endless for Neymar. He does bring a lot of baggage. There's no denying that. But I, for one, would just love to see it. Let's get another comment here from Mohsin. Let's also look at Giggs. What a baller. What a terrible human being. I mean, the truth of the matter with this one, Mohsin, is a lot of what Giggs did came out after he played for Man United. It wasn't really in tandem with when he was playing. So I just feel like a lot of people would definitely, gone against Ryan Giggs if a lot of what he did during that time and when he's at Man United came out. And maybe they protected him. I don't really know. But I, for one, was not, just as an example, I, for one, was not aware of anything what Giggs was doing behind closed doors as he was a Man United player. I feel like a lot of it came out after he retired. Again, I might be incorrect in that. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Kane and De Jong, bro, that's what you need first. Listen, Kane and De Jong would be my dream signings. I don't think De Jong doesn't want to come, so I'm just going to completely eradicate that name. And we haven't actually been linked with him as well, so I'm assuming that's dead in the water. Harry Kane for me. Listen, if I'm Harry Kane, I go to Real Madrid. I've seen a link today saying, Real Madrid interested in Kane. I don't really think that's true, but hypothetically speaking, if it is true, Harry Kane needs to be pushing for that move because Real Madrid, they've got Benzema there, who's obviously world class, but he's coming to the end of his powers, so to speak. I mean, this is the Benzema's at 35, 36, or whatever his age is. there's only so many years he can give. I mean, he's also been class every other season. I know he's gotten better throughout the years, but Harry Kane in that Real Madrid shirt, man, that's the kind of shit he needs to be pushing for, man. Go have some ambition, go win some trophies. Look, at the end of the day, I want him to come to Manchester United, of course, from a selfish perspective, but surely, if Real Madrid come knocking, surely he gets that move. But yeah, Neymar still has it. His problem is injuries. Exactly, this is my thing. I do think he'll be injured a lot. But as coach has already said, 15 games a season for Neymar. Listen, I might just have to take it. Bez linked to Qatar League. Fair. I didn't see that. I thought he was linked to Saudi League, actually. Yeah, I thought something about him being linked to Saudi League, but it is where it is. But listen, let me know your thoughts. If you do watch this on repeat, let me know your thoughts on Mason Mount, Harry Kane, and Benzema. Not Benzema, but bro, that's just popped into my head. And Neymar, sorry. Similar names. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. If you're watching this on repeat, would you take Kane? Would you take Mount? Would you take Neymar? Which ones are you taking? Which ones are you not taking? Obviously, let me know of any suggestions that you want me to talk about any player in the coming weeks. Obviously, this is going to be extremely busy a few weeks for transfers. We are linked to everyone. That is always the case with Manchester United. But listen, I will be back on Thursday, possibly Thursday. I think it's Thursday, to do a preview for Manchester United, for Manchester City, and hopefully, I might actually record some content on Saturday after I was watching the game. I just have to wait and see. I'm going to be watching it with the family, so I'm not really sure who wants to appear on the vlog, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But listen, that said, I'm going to wrap it up there. I just want to say a massive thank you to every single person that has tuned in. Please do slap a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I will be back on Thursday, most likely. It'll probably be 7 p.m. I'm going to try and get Man City fan. Actually, am I going to try and get Man City fan? I don't know. I might just do the show on my own. I quite like doing them on. We'll see. Anyways, back to the 7 p.m. If you haven't, feel free to slap a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on my socials, which is over on the screen. Please give Devin a new contract from Seamus Moore. Thank you for tuning in. Obviously, you are a Liverpool fan. I don't think so. I didn't even speak about De Gea, actually. But anyways, we'll say that from the day. We should not get any of these. Fair enough. See at Wembley, bro. Sadly, I won't be at Wembley. Like I said, I will be watching the game with like 10 of my cousins. So that should be an absolute banger. Matthew, just tune in, bro. I'm just wrapping it up. Thank you as always. Make sure you slap a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on repeat. Thank you as always for your support. Back Thursday, 7 p.m. for the flipping big one, the FA Cup preview. Let me know your thoughts for that one as well in the comments. But apart from that,